Christmas Day, 1944. In an isolated farmhouse on the border of England and Wales, Ivor Davies and his family have just finished their Christmas lunch and are now gathered around their wireless set to hear the King's speech. Suddenly, a strange and growing rumbling noise fills the evening air outside. Grabbing his overcoat and torch, Ivor sets out into the dense fog to check on his animals and to find out where that unearthly sound had come from. For over an hour, he searches in the gathering darkness, finding nothing. Then, on the short track back to the house, out of the gloom, a huge dark shape appears, blocking the road completely. As he ventures closer, the creaking and ticking shape reveals itself to be the wreck of a huge American B-24 bomber. Ivor runs to help the men trapped inside, but finds no one. He peers into the cockpit. Empty. He shines his torch into the waist gun positions. Nothing. He calls out into the gloom, but no one replies. How could the crew of 10 young men have just disappeared into the fog? 200 miles away, on the other side of England, the ground crews of the 467th Bomb Group had been waiting for one of their B-24 Liberator bombers to return. Bold Venture 3 had been one of 420 bombers sent by the 8th Air Force to bomb German railway targets to halt the flow of troops and supplies to the front. As night fell, hopes for the 10 young men faded. They were probably all dead, either shot down over the target or drowned in the icy waters of the North Sea. Little did the ground crews know that their bomber, at least, had made it back and was now sitting in a field near the Welsh border with a very puzzled farmer. The following day, news reached the 467th Bomb Group that Bold Venture 3 had been found, but without its crew. The salvage crew found personal equipment, bloodstains, and other signs that the crew had been in a fight, but no clue as to what had happened to them. It seemed that the crew had simply vanished without a trace, and arrangements were made for the families to be sent the dreaded telegram that informed them that their sons were officially missing in action. But then, over the following days, messages were sent from France that some of the crew had been found alive. In fact, within 2 weeks, 8 of the 10 crew had been accounted for. The men were quickly debriefed, and finally, the true story of the Christmas ghost bomber was discovered. Apparently, the pilot and 3 other crew members had bailed out over the target after being hit and wounded by flak and fighters on the bomb run. The remaining crew members didn't hear the bailout bell and only noticed something was wrong when the aircraft started to slow turn back towards Germany. The navigator was able to set the autopilot to a westerly heading of 270 degrees, and since none of the remaining crew could land a B-24, they all bailed out when they reached friendly territory. Only the pilot and co-pilot were taken prisoner. The other 8 were soon back in England. Meanwhile, having been abandoned by her remaining crew members, Bold Venture 3 decided to fly home herself on autopilot, only hitting the ground when her fuel was exhausted near to Ivor Davies's remote farmhouse. Luck was certainly with the Davies family that evening. It had also been with the Bold Venture's crew, who all went home to their families in the USA at the end of the war. Sadly, nearly 26,000 other 8th Air Force men never went home, having paid the ultimate sacrifice for the freedom that we all enjoy today. Spare them a thought on this Christmas Day.